Ngicela sikhulume ngokuthi how does a person that was a virgin when they got married, because they chose that they will be, and they felt like that was the right thing to do, and God expected them to be a virgin when they got married. Ukuthi, when then their partner decides that they want to leave, send them an email and say, I don't want you via email, and they never really get to hear being told, Angisakufuni, I think you're boring, I think you're horrible, I think face to face, How do you how do you go back to not having coitus? That's the point of this video. How do you go back to not having coitus? Yeah, you're a Christian. And you know how sweet the honey is. Oh, the honey is sweet. Sweet. Oh, more. It is lovely, the honey in marriage. It is lovely. It's absolutely lovely. Ask those that had coitus before marriage and ask them how coitus is after marriage. And hopefully if they are honest, they will let you know. There's a difference. There's absolutely a difference. But how do you go back to your normal life? What do? You become a virgin again because you're not married anymore. How do you live a pure life with the struggles of you now don't have the protection? Physically, your body wants what it wants because your body was used to, receiving what was due to eat. Kodwa manje asekho bhuti, instead khona nje ovuka ibani bafuna ukushaya one night stand mntasukuma phuma hambe, and then they leave you all messed up. Like, how do you go back to, how hard is it to go back to it? I know that it was hard. For me, at first it was easy, and then after that I was just angry at God, and I was like, well, this man left and I waited the first time and I want what I want. And I got married in my 20s and got divorced in my 20s. So that was like, and in my 20s it was okay. But the minute I turned 30, umzimba. Aye guys, when women turn 30, that's where we are ripe and ready to be plucked. So in my 30s, I struggled, and so I didn't. I decided not to struggle, and I went to God and I said, well, I did everything I was told to do by my mom, by you, or maybe you didn't say it, but the expectation was that this was my prayer. Dear God, I'm horny. I need to get laid. I was married and I miss having coitus. But please don't make me guilty. I don't want to be guilty. I want to do what I want to do without the guilt. So please, allow the guilt to do what he wants to do. Did he not allow? He's a wonderful God. Patient God. A process allowing God. That didn't last for long. I stopped because I started buying my pampers. It was that year where Black Friday was starting in South Africa. So those big pampers, I think they're like 120, or I can't remember the price. I'm making it up right now. And I bought 2. I took one to a friend who was pregnant for their baby shower. The other I kept for myself. And then I started buying baby Gap clothes. What is this? And then I stopped because I wasn't guilty. But that prayer changed my perspective of God. It really did, because I came to him like a child and I spoke to him like he was my father, which he is. And now I pray about anything and everything. Now I will say, well, I'm not happy here. Could we find a way to get me to a place where I'll be happy? Or I'll just be like, you allowed this to happen. I'm having a hard time. And now I feel like I'm about to have a panic attack, or I am having a panic attack. My heart just won't calm down. Please calm me down. Or another prayer that I pray would be, today I really would like an attention from a man, but there is none. So may I please have a hug from you today? And something will happen, like I'll have a friend call me from home, or I'll have I'll get good news, and in those good news I will know for sure that this was a hug from God. But it's tough. It's tough to have been married and then have to go back to a society that is not kind to women that have been married. Kuthiwa sibuya emendweni. Angibuyanga mina emendweni bakithi. Wahamba wangishiya ekhaya, wayesengishiya ekhaya la engithathe khona. It was quite clever, right? It was quite neat. Wahamba waya kubo. Now I went through a point where I was just like, I'm not going to be guilty. I'm not going to be guilty. I'm not going to walk around being guilty. I'm going to do what I want to do, because I did everything I was told to do. I was a good girl and I did it. And so I wasn't rebellious in my teenage years or in my 20s. Oh, but I became rebellious in my 30s for sure. Rebellious not to God, to myself. Because I was like, what's the point? What's the point when we know people that, because then what happens, that kind of hurt, you go through all sorts of emotions, and one of those is self-righteousness, where you then sit and say, but I know, because then you take out the daughters abantu uthi nyamaza ubani bani uphila kanje waphila kanje ubani bani wenza kanje kanje mina while I was yena wayenza enza, you know, and you go through a horrible moment of self-righteousness, of thinking that I got married because I was a virgin, and you forget that you got married because you loved each other. It had nothing to do with that, and that people, whether they are virgins or not, they get married because they love each other. No one gets married to have a divorce. I just want to hear how hard it is to live pure. How it became easier for me, and maybe I'm not going to get into that. Is it possible to live pure after being married? Like pure, where you're like, I'm waiting on God, I'm going to wait for another. Like, is it possible? If it's not possible, why? If it is possible, how do you manage? I want to hear about how hard is it? How hard is it? How easy is it, if it's easy? Would you rather you just did what you wanted to do? Because in the divorce, it's like after you get a divorce, you're given a ticket to do as you please, you know, because it's like, hey, I tried it, so I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. And because church is useless, society is useless in making space for people that have been divorced, whether they chose to be divorced or somebody else decided that they will divorce them, or they left for running for their lives, trying to save their lives. There still needs to be a platform in church that welcomes people that have been divorced, just like how they welcome people that have been married. There's also need to be a class for men to know how to please their wives in bed, and a class for women to learn how to speak, and a class for the in-laws on how to treat your new daughter, how to treat your new son. There's so much that we could do. Oh, and a class for mamfundisi, pastors' wives, on how to be a Delilah when it's time. Because when he comes from the pulpit, he needs to find you nice and shiny. You need to minister to him. He just ministered to a crowd. He needs to find you clean, nice and shiny. If you need to leave the service before everyone else, leave. So that umefika ekhaya akuthole uhamba ready. Uthi nje honey, uthi nje baby, ehamba ugeza. Already useyakubona usugqoke vele into zakhona. Ungena ugqoke into zakhona because laba befundisi laba bagange because niyathanda nokuba umfundisi ninjalo. Singekho isidingo. Naye bamfundisi uthanda ukuba bamfundise ekhaya. Ufuna iclass abamfundisi. Kuningi nje ufune kwenzeke. I wasn't supposed to talk about this. Anyway.